Hey, Jamsters. Missed us? Yeah, it's been about like 8 days since we've podcasted. Shit, I can't remember the last time we've done a drought that long. Typically in the past during the All-Star break, we'll do some videos or we'll do some analyzation of the All-Star game. And this year, you've seen as the Suns had no All-Stars outside of Kevin Durant. We didn't do one. We didn't do anything. We took a break. Matthew, how did you spend your All-Star break?
Oh, it went by quick. A lot of nothing. I did watch the All-Star game with you, and that was very boring.
It was the
So that was
worst
probably the
All-Star
worst
game
part of my
ever.
break. Yeah, it really was. But no, it was strange not being here, man. It was strange not being here with you with the Jamsters for such a long time, but it was nice to take a break. Not gonna lie.
It's definitely nice to take a break, but I will say this, and I tweeted this out, I think, for those of you who follow me on Twitter, at Darth Voida. I had a work event earlier this week in which there was numerous people from all throughout the country meeting with the CEO of the company. He's doing a road tour. He's going to different locations, and he's talking about the vision of the company as he's new and yada, yada, yada. And afterwards, there's a reception, and we're at the Culinary Dropout down there on 7th Street, and no one to talk basketball with. No one. Like, you sit there and you kind of casually, you have a beer in your hand and you're kind of shooting the shit, and somebody will say something and you're like, yeah, well, welcome to Phoenix, home of Kevin Durant now. And they're like, okay. And you're just like, oh man, like, I just want to talk basketball with somebody. And that's where I was just like, I think that was the moment. I think that was on Tuesday. And I think that was the moment I'm like, I miss doing the podcast. I miss talking to Matthew. I miss the Jamsters in the chat. I miss popping on Twitter and talking back and forth with people about anything Suns related. I just realized, like, nobody fucking watches basketball, dude. No one. I couldn't find one. These people are all, like, there's somebody from Boston, like, oh, hey, the Celtics. And they're like, yeah. Some guys from Charlotte. I'm like, oh, so what do you think about what Michael Jordan's done out there? He's like, don't care. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay.
You were searching hard, huh?
Every person I talked to, I tried to weave in, because it's what you do. Like, when you're standing around at a party and you're 40 years old, you talk about like sports or the weather or your commute to work. It's like the three things that you can talk about that everyone kind of have in common. And sports is the big one. I speak 2 languages. I speak English and I speak sports. And I had no one to talk about. So I'm so happy to see you and see everyone in the chat again. God damn it.
Yeah, and I started a little early today. I actually called my friend David, and we talked for 2 hours about the Suns. So I just couldn't wait. I mean, there was that Mikal Bridges interview with JJ Redick.
Yes.
And he was talking about, the trade and all this shit. Hopefully we can stop talking about it. But I was like, damn, I'm sad. I got to talk to somebody. So we spent 2 hours talking about the Suns and how they'll probably never win a championship. And Katie will never fucking play.
Stop all of the above.
I'm joking. We didn't say that.
Stop all of the above, please. Yeah, but I mean, it was great to watch basketball tonight. Again, a victory for the Phoenix Suns, which is a great way to come out of the break. Know that you're playing against a pesky Oklahoma City Thunder team, a team that's hovering around 500. I watched them last night as they played against the Utah Jazz because I was that starved for basketball that I actually watched part of a Jazz game. And I was a little worried because SGA is amazing. And then I was very, very surprised that he wasn't playing today with an injured ankle. And I'm like, you know what? We'll take it, because every win right now is so vital for the Suns. I don't know what the final score is on that Kings-Clippers game, but, that one obviously has seeding implications. We have 21 games left now following this victory against the Thunder. All of these games are very vital to how this team will end up relative to playoff seeding and how Monty Williams is going to manage his rotation. So there's a lot of things to take in when you watch these games now, because we are in the home stretch, and the game, the season that has been a marathon is now starting to become a sprint.
Yeah, it's getting close, and the Clippers it looks like they're going to win that game, and they look good. Clippers look good, and of course we come into tonight's game and SGA's out. It's so frustrating. It's like, what are you supposed to do now with these NBA games? I swear,
win them.
You guys, 90%, I know, win them. That's fine, but I want to see these guys play. 90% of these games we come on after that are ESPN or TNT. The other team, we might have a guy out or something, but the other team never has their best player. It's
I'm okay
always
with
that
it
way
right now. Because guess what?
I know, but
we're going to get 3 more shots at the Thunder the rest of the season. Of our 21 games left, we play the Thunder 3 more times. We're going to get SGA. We'll get him.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
isn't that crazy? 4 times after the All-Star break.
Yeah, and we'll have KD playing for us. So I'm okay with it. I
Maybe.
really am.
Who
I
knows?
get what you're saying, but you know what?
We keep talking about stuff like this. Who knows who's gonna fucking play in these games, dude? I'm sorry. It's annoying to me.
I get you, but at the same time,
Mm.
I'll take it for what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. I can just watch, analyze, and have a good time because it's a win. You lose this game, how do you feel? We lost. There's no SGA. Feels a lot worse, don't it?
I feel yeah.
I don't
feel
feel
the same actually.
I don't feel at all.
This game has no feeling to me.
Oh wow! Well, this is gonna be a fun podcast. Good to be back, baby.
Yeah.
Welcome to all the Jamsters who are
That
hanging out in the
energy,
chat.
huh?
Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you happen to be doing so on the YouTube. We appreciate it. If you're listening to the podcast, head on over to Apple Podcasts and read or give us a review, and we'll read it
Yes.
right here on the podcast. We truly appreciate it. In fact, we got a new one. It's from Suns fan Edgar. He says, I've been watching you guys for a while now. Keep up the great work. You always got me laughing at work. I was going to leave a review earlier, but I was waiting for KD. We got KD. And can you please play the McHale drop one more time? And you know what? For Suns fan Edgar, we'll do it.
All eyes on the warden.
There we go. We've done it, Suns fans. We're moving on. We're popping open a beer because it's a Friday night. Matthew's ornery tonight. Yeah, we'll see.
No,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
We're never going to stop talking about McHale.
No, we won't. He's one of ours.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to pop it. And after the intro brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, let's talk about McHale.
Yeah, whatever.
The Phoenix Suns outlast the Oklahoma City Thunder, beat them, and now move to 33-28 on the season, 21-10 at home. And it brings me to my first question, Matthew.
Matthew, I got to ask.
So before the game was commenced tonight, as we waited, knowing that this game was moved to ESPN, most likely because ESPN's like, hey, this is our chance, right? We're going to get KD. They didn't get KD. None of us did. We did see him in shoot around. But the Phoenix Suns finalized their 15th roster spot today. They signed Ish Wainright once again. Same thing as last season where they brought him on, taking him off the two-way, which he had expired. He had utilized all his two-way eligibility. And they brought Ish Wainright in to fill the last roster spot. I actually put a poll out earlier in the week, and 1,700 people voted. And I said, how should the Suns fill their 15th and final roster spot? Should they sign Ish Wainright, sign Saban Lee, sign a free agent, and who would that be? And sign a buyout player, and who would that be? The majority, 40% of the 1,700 votes said sign Ish Wainright. Matthew, my question for you, was this the right move?
Yeah, I think it was the only one after Kevin Love's gone. I don't know how much interest the Suns had in Kevin Love, but I know a lot of us Suns fans did. After that was gone, then you have to settle with Ish. I think Ish is the only really any other option out there to have as kind of like a big, someone that can hit the three. He was struggling before, and a lot of Suns fans were like sick of him. But that's the thing. It's like we give Craig a lot of shit, but he's played probably 70% of the season. He's been really good. Ish has had some really good games for us. He's played a bigger role. It's newer for him. But he can have games like tonight where he just gets you 10 points, 2 threes. That's all you really want. So after that, missing out on Love sucks. But Ish for sure is a guy that we all love. And the one thing is like the chemistry, man. I think chemistry, whatever you want to say about it, who really cares? But I mean, there's a big turnover rate right now in Phoenix, right? Like there's a lot of guys coming in and out. So it'd be nice to just have a familiar name for once. I think once you get TJ and you have Ross coming off the bench, it's like, let's keep some of these guys familiar just a little bit. And I was okay with it. I don't think any kind of splash that would happen would make me be like, oh, that's who we needed. I think this was just a perfect kind of fit just to stay in Phoenix right now.
My thought process was that we needed another backup point guard simply because Chris Paul has worn down in the playoffs. and most likely will wear down again in the playoffs. Cameron Payne's coming off of an injury, and we'll talk about his performance tonight. Great to have Cameron Payne back. Great to have that energy. I don't know how great it is to have him screaming and yelling, but, every team needs that guy, so we got that back. But then you have Saben Lee behind that, and Saben Lee is a two-way contract. He will not be a part of this postseason roster. So you definitely have plenty of guards. Landry Shamet could do some point stuff. You could do some point book stuff, what have you. But I thought that was the need of this team. I saw the signing, and I'm with you. I don't dislike it because, and you stole the point, if you will, from me. The continuity of this team is the one thing that's in question. And Monty Williams is going to have his hand full over these next 21 games, 22 if you include tonight, starting to manage rotations, figure out how this postseason roster is going to look, define roles. Because even tonight, nothing's defined because 34 minutes and Kevin Durant wasn't playing tonight. It's a big chunk of minutes that isn't going to be available for players like Ish Wainright. So agreeing with your point, it's the right move. You reward a guy who's done nothing but great things for you. I wouldn't say great, but he's been a good guy on the team. He scored 10 points tonight, as you mentioned. How many times do you think he scored 10 or more points this season?
Probably 0.
It's his third time.
Third time,
yeah. He had 17 points against the Atlanta Hawks. He had 13 points against the Indiana Pacers, and that was on back-to-back nights. It was a back-to-back right before the All-Star break. So Ish is maybe coming on a little bit, but he's not gonna get minutes in the playoffs. And that's what you had to ask, is who the Phoenix Suns are going to bring in potentially in the buyout market. Is it somebody who's going to impact the lineup, or does Monty Williams have other things up his sleeve to say, you know what, I've got Chris Paul, I've got Cameron Payne, I've got other guards, even Terrence Ross. Like Terrence Ross has provided some, in his short time with us, he's displayed an ability to be a playmaker with the ball.
Yeah, and Saben Lee, he's not a guy that's going to be here, in the playoffs. So the thing is, Derrick Rose is out there. I'm pretty sure you were going to talk about him. I'm pretty sure you're interested. You did tweet about how
I saw that he was available.
Yeah,
I saw that there were Suns talks with Derrick Rose. I was interested, and then like 20 minutes later, they signed Ish Wainright. I'm like, and who cares?
But Saben Lee can be dropped because Saben Lee's not going to play anything. So I mean,
but the roster's full. He's a two-way player. Two-way contracts don't count against your 15-man roster. So we technically right now have 16 people.
We have 15 guys. We have
16
spots filled right now.
We have 15 rotation players who can go to the playoffs. We have 16 total players on the team.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. Someone in the chat tell us.
Bummer City.
So who do you want to talk about first in this one, Matthew?
Oh, let's talk about
your decision.
KD. Let's talk about Devin Booker.
Okay, Devin Booker it is.
Big Dick Booker.
Devin Booker, 36 minutes played tonight, 9 of 21 from the field. He had 25 points. He had 6 rebounds. He had 8 assists to lead all Phoenix Suns. He was 1 of 7 from beyond the arc, but that one is the three-pointer that set the franchise record for most three-pointers ever made by a Phoenix Suns, surpassing your favorite, Stephen Nash of Canada.
Oh, Steven. Oh, Steven.
Oh,
how
Steven.
sweet. How sweet it is. You think in the back of Booker's mind, he's like, I got to get that 3 to beat the record. That's why he just kind of had a shitty first half a little bit, maybe. Maybe that's what it was. Because honestly, I thought he was kind of playing his own game out there where he looked just kind of like an individual out there, not really playing within the offense. I was thinking that, but then it got a little bit better. I'm like, is he sharing the ball? Hold on, let me look at the box score. 8 assists? Really do I know how to watch basketball? Am I in a grumpy mood tonight? I don't know what's going on, dude. But it was a pretty solid performance to end the night. Box score looks okay, but you can just tell this whole team is kind of in disarray right now. They don't know what they're doing out there a lot of the times. When you're playing a Thunder team without SGA, how much can you take from it? They don't even have a center out there. So then when you go to DA's stuff, it's like, who knows? So, I mean, it's going to be a while for Book to get back into things. He had that one really good game before the break. Now 25 points. It didn't look like a Booker game still. He still looks like he's struggling. I would give him a few extra games, and then KD comes back. They got to figure that out. So right now, man, it's a upward battle because Booker to me didn't really stick out as a superstar tonight. I think it's going to take some time, but it's just the whole KD thing kind of overshadows. Like coming into these games when KD's not going to play and he's not playing yet, it's kind of hard to like digest that and just be like, damn, like I love this team and I love Booker, but it's just hard to think about like we have KD over there on the bench and he's not playing. So like it's almost like I can only get up like 70% for these games. Love the Suns, love Booker, but now that KD's there, it's like I want to see KD play. I want to see him play with Devin Booker, but I'm just like a bigger KD fan now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to see like how dominant, because right now this team just doesn't look good behind Booker as your superstar. And maybe it was just tonight's game, but it's like if you're going to count on this team to actually win anything, and what if we had the team beforehand, before the trade? It just didn't look good. So now that you're thinking about KD the whole game, it's hard for me to focus sometimes. I'm like, share the ball, Booker. Oh, 8 assists. Never mind. I'm sorry, man.
How much have you smoked tonight?
Nothing, dude.
That's
an
insane.
evil presence is in here tonight or something. I don't know what's
the
going
Suns
on.
scored 29 points in the first quarter, 36 in the second, 29 in the third, and 30 in the fourth. They scored 124 points tonight, man. Like,
yeah, against
Devin Booker
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not complaining about the game.
Against a pesky Thunder team that is just under 500 and is most likely going to be in the playoffs, is a team that's young, athletic, doesn't stop coming at you, and they're 5 out. So they're just a weird team to play against, right? So
yeah.
Devin Booker didn't care. He still ended with 25 points. He didn't carry the team across the finish line, but he's got 25. You got 16 from CP3. You got 15 from Okogie. You got 14 from Ayton and Cameron Payne. You got 10 from Ish Wainright. It was a team victory tonight. That's what I like to see. I'm glad that this team came out after knowing that you do have KD sitting over there, and you don't, and you're not doing a bunch of hero ball with Devin Booker, because yeah, you're right. He wasn't efficient tonight, but he had 6 rebounds. He had 8 assists in this game. He was doing everything he could, and he really did it in the third quarter when he started. You're right. In the first half, in the first, look at your face. You just
I'm reading the comments.
You look like the I'm Mr. Miser. I'm Mr. 101.
Is that from the 70s? What is that?
Miser. It's that Rudolph fucking Christmas special.
Oh, yeah.
Saves the baby New Year.
You do that, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like when you pull off your earphones, like your ears pop out like the baby New Year in that thing, and you're just like,
cool.
Dude. But I think that, again, I'm with you that Devin Booker didn't look great tonight relative to him making shots. But the shots he was taking were good shots. It's the threes that killed his efficiency. He was 1 of 7 from beyond the arc. If he takes 0 threes in this game, right, he goes 8 of 14 from the field. So, I mean, of his 25 points, only 3 of them came from beyond the arc. So I just think that what I noticed is the first time that Monty Williams left him in for almost the entire first quarter. He played 11 minutes in the first quarter. So that tells me Monty's almost got him back. Devin's feeling almost well enough back to be playing in his normal rotational spots, which is ideal. That's exactly what you want for KD to come in. Because guess what, folks? KD's going to play next Wednesday. He's going to play in Charlotte at 5 in the afternoon. And he's not going to be going out there and playing 36 minutes right off the bat. They're going to have him on a minute restrictions as well as he integrates himself into this offense. And we have to get that. So it's like we have to go through these stages. And if you're winning games along the stages, there's no reason to be grumpy, Matthew.
No, I'm not grumpy. I think this whole game was just weird. So first of all, like there's no KD, no SGA. So then I'm just kind of a little disappointed. I know KD wasn't going to play. I don't know who said he was going to play tonight anyways, like beforehand. Like, oh, he's playing Friday. And like they're like, oh, maybe Wednesday. I'm like, well, who even said he was going to play Friday? So I'm not taking this game out. I'm not taking anything out on the Suns tonight. I'm really not. I'm just saying right now, this team is just, they have a lot to work to do. I think that's the stress in my mind right now, is just thinking about how much they have to deal with going into the playoffs with 21 games left. And I'm just
one game at a time, right?
I know it's one game at a time.
And they won.
For sure. Yeah, they won. And that's all that matters right now. I'm just saying, like, I just keep thinking about the West and how hard it's going to be. And there's a lot on this team right now.
I get you, man. I'm right there with you. But shit, enjoy the ride, dude. Like, we're going to be disappointed in the playoffs.
I'm not going to enjoy these games where these guys fucking rest on the bench, dude. I wanted to beat them with SGA. I want to see what all the fuss is about. I just did.
We'll see. And like I said at the top of the pod,
we'll see.
We'll see the fuss. Trust me, it's coming. Like, and then we're going to be pissed off because he's going to beat us, because he's going to go out there and he's going to get 35 points, and he's going to have 17 of those come at the fucking free throw line. And I'm sure that you'll talk about it in the subreddit stakeout, but I'm sure the Oklahoma City Thunder subreddit was pissed off with all the calls. because I mean the Suns were getting all the calls in the front end of
Oh,
this
yeah,
game.
that's all it was.
Yeah,
That's
I
all it
mean,
was.
I was watching the game. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be one of those games, because at when everything was said and done, the Phoenix Suns shot 32 free throws in this game to the Thunder's 24. So it's one of those things where you're happy because you got a victory, but at the same time, that for all the games that we didn't get the free throws, where we only had 12 free throws, like I'll take it. The contact was happening.
Yeah.
We were finally getting some veteran calls. It felt like Kevin Durant sitting on the bench is finally what swayed the referees to go, okay, we'll give you guys some respect. It wasn't Chris Paul. It's not Devin Booker, but we got KD now. So they're like, okay, we're going to give you guys a little bit more respect in this game.
Yeah, even Okogie was getting calls, but they were getting calls without him being touched. And I kind of felt bad for OKC. I'm like, damn, dude, like we're getting away with a lot of stuff tonight. And I hate that side of it because it happens to us. It used to happen to us a lot. But when we get the calls and I'm just kind of like, what? I kind of feel bad, but then it's just part of the game, man. It's all fucking
I don't feel.
rigged.
I never feel bad. I never feel bad.
I feel bad
too
for
many
everything.
times. Too many times. Well, you got to take a gummy or something and turn that frown upside down or something, because like too many times we've been the victim of it. So tonight I will take it. I will be happily take advantage that the Phoenix Suns, and as you mentioned, Josh Okogie was attacking. The one thing I'll talk about before we move on with Devin Booker, the thing that I did like to see tonight was his distribution, because again, I led off this podcast talking about how I felt the Phoenix Suns should have addressed in the buyout market their roster need of a backup point guard. But when Kevin Durant joins this team, and I know when the fuck's he gonna be here, and everyone's like, oh, when's he gonna be? Is it Tuesdays and Wednesdays, the next fucking Friday? I don't fucking care. But when he's here, you're gonna have an opportunity to have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, or Kevin Durant on the floor at all times. At all times. Through the entire 48 minutes of the game, one of those guys, in theory, could be on the floor. And all of them can play make. And that's what's going to negate that backup to the backup point guard, in my opinion, is seeing Devin Booker do that tonight, see him go for those 8 assists, set up Josh Okogie in the corner with Ish Wainright for a 3. Seeing those kind of plays reminded me, it's like, oh, yeah, that's a part of this roster. That's an aspect of this team moving forward that will be productive, is you can sit there and you can run any one of those guys out. You want all 3 on the court to start the game and all 3 on the court to end the game. But during the middle of the game, you can have 1 or 2 of them on there and the other guy resting, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, a lot of this is it's hinging on injuries. Like, that's really all it is, right?
And that's what every team in the NBA can say.
Every
correct.
team's going through right now. So
yes. So let's talk about Josh Okogie.
Josh. Oh.
Josh Okogie is continuing to make his case for the starting 3 on this team. Tonight, he's 32 minutes. He's 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 7 from beyond the arc, has 15 points, all of which were in the first half, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. But once again, we saw how important he can be. His offensive rebounding. They were talking. Were you watching the ESPN broadcast of the Bally's?
Yeah, I was. It was hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was watching Bally's. Maybe that's why I'm in a better mood, because you're watching ESPN. It probably was.
No, it was
down
funny,
the whole time.
dude. Richard Jefferson had me laughing. Like, I was crying sometimes. He was funny tonight.
That's how you know you're wrong.
He took his shirt off on air.
Sucks. Did he really?
Yeah, he took his shirt off on air. And I think he got suspended for like one night or something because he wasn't there the next night. He just fucking unbuttoned his shirt and walked around. It was the funniest thing ever. No, that happened like a couple weeks ago. Tonight he was just giving JJ Redick some shit. And that was funny, man.
Well, I didn't even tune into that. But one thing that they were talking about on the what K-Ray was talking about on the Bally Sports broadcast was offensive rebounding rate that Josh Okogie has is a 10.9%. And like, this isn't the timeline podcast. I'm not going to break down what that means because I don't know as well as those guys would know. But I do know that it's a number that's typically where like Deandre Ayton should be living at. 10% offensive rebounding rate. And that's what he does. He forces the issue. He was getting to the line. And I really liked, once again, what I saw from Josh Okogie tonight. And I think that, like I've said previously, he plays bigger than he is. And I know that the starting small forward position is most likely going to be something that Monty Williams experiments with in theory based on matchup. But, man, you got to give it up for Okogie, man.
Yeah, the matchup thing has to go. I think Okogie is just a starter. the thing is, like, you can't go back and forth. You got to figure out who's going to come off your bench. If it's Craig, let him settle into the bench role, man, because he's played so
Exactly.
long as a starter. You can't go back and forth with these guys. And you could see there's going to be some kind of frustration in between the two, mostly Craig, because Okogie is quickly like the Suns fans' favorite right now, and you can't stop him. He's doing everything on the court that, I don't know, man, that he's supposed to do, but plus more. I just don't understand the guy, where he came from, and where he just, someone said something in the chat where his handles didn't look too good.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, man, the one man fast break he has, I know he missed that layup, but he split the double team, or split the two guys, got right to the rim. This guy he can take over, and I want him to have the ball more. Opposing teams are going to have issues trying to box this guy out. It's a perfect guy to have in there that just sneaks around everybody. Everyone loses track of him, and he gives you second chances.
Yes.
So he's an awesome guy to have as your starting 3 or 4, or 3 or 2, whatever. Just throw him in there. I don't even know anymore.
Small
3.
forward.
Yeah, there you go.
The 3. Yeah, I concur with everything that you stated. His energy levels, his willingness to force the issue, his ability to force the issue, his tenacity, all of these adjectives that you utilize when you describe Josh Okogie's game are the X factor. His Twitter handle, I believe, is nonstop.
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 Yeah.
Call me nonstop. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what he is. And I talked about it before the season. We did our season preview and our player previews on brightsideofthesun.com. And I got Josh Okogie, and I looked at him, and I was analyzing his game and everything that he did in Minnesota. And that's who he was. Not offensively, though. It wasn't offensively. It was all defensively. And you saw that this guy has the ability to change a game if he's allowed the opportunity to. Now, that being said, he had a lot of opportunity in Minnesota, especially his rookie season. 2018-19, he came in the league the same year as DeAndre Ayton, and he started 52 of the 74 games, and 7.7 points, nothing crazy. 27.9 from beyond the arc. And then the next year was 26.6, then 26.9, then 29.8. So every year coming into his career, coming into Phoenix, he's been sub 30% from beyond the arc.
That's nasty too.
It's nasty. Yeah. So that was always the issue. And I said it in my preseason article. I go, Josh Okogie is Elfrid Payton. That's who he is. He's a younger version of Elfrid Payton. He doesn't distribute nearly as much. He's more of a rebounder than Elfrid Payton, but Elfrid Payton could rebound. And you take a look at him this year, and not including this game, but he's 6.3 points on 34.9% from beyond the arc. And he's really, it's got to be the fact that he put the mask on. I think that's what it is. I honestly think, I don't know what he put the mask on, but if I go through and I look, he was inactive on the 19th of January against the Brooklyn Nets. And that might be when he had gotten hurt. And then he came back, and that's 11 games ago, not including tonight. And he's 11.7 points per game since then in 11 games. And he's shooting 45% from beyond the arc. And then you factor in what he did tonight. The guy has just been a revelation. And you're starting to wonder, is this a blip or is this a trend? And if this is a trend, watch out, because he's the X factor. He's the kind of guy that can go out and win you a fucking series, right? Devin Booker's going to do Devin Booker things. KD's going to do KD things. Chris Paul's going to break the fuck down. And DeAndre Ayton can really has a lot of opportunity. But it's people like Josh Okogie who can really swing a series, man.
Yeah, and usually those guys, they'll be kind of out of control at sometimes, and they might be just, don't do that. Oh, foul. What are you doing? Come on. But this guy doesn't give you a headache. He takes care of his own business on the court, and he does it in a way where it's kind of fluid, dude. And I think that he can get around guys 15 and 7 tonight. I mean, that was Mikal Bridges' numbers for most of the time, right?
You're
so
absolutely
he's putting
right.
up Mikal's numbers.
Yes, he is.
The way he can actually get in there and grab those boards is something that Mikal couldn't do. Mikal's super long, super lanky. The thing is, Josh Okogie, he is smaller, obviously. He's the same size as Booker, but he plays bigger. He can out jump DeAndre Ayton for those offensive boards if he wants to, or grab those defensive boards if he wants to. He wants it. And just moving forward, man, this isn't anything that's going to be, that's going to slow down. Nonstop for sure. It's going to keep going straight towards the playoffs, into the playoffs. I just believe that. I believe it. It's not one of those things where it's DeAndre, when he gets going, it's yeah, fuck yeah. But then the whole thing is with DeAndre, it's it's situated around the offense. Like Okogie can just go get his, and it's going to be every night. I'm excited, man. He's absolutely a fan favorite. And I think he's going to
100%.
be a guy, like you said, that can win you a game. He just definitely can. He's going to make that the 2 or 3 plays for you in that really crucial game.
Is it interesting that Josh Okogie's rise has occurred during Damian Lee's demise?
Doesn't that
Because
always happen?
Damian Lee, like Damian Lee was like kind of like the fan favorite, right? He was shooting 48.3% from beyond the arc. And then in like the last 11 games, he's shooting 23.1% from beyond the arc. He's attacking the rim wildly, whereas before he was just a spot up shooter. And I won't even say like I get that he needs to attack the rim because that's gone. Like Booker's back, Chris Paul's back. Like I get when he was trying to attack the rim a little bit in their absence,
Yeah.
but he just needs to be a spot up shooter. It's like, why can't just both those guys be fucking badass?
I know, and like he's just doing too much still. The thing
Yes.
is, like when these guys took on the bigger responsibility with all those minutes due to injuries, there was 2 guys, him and I think Jock. They kind of fell off in a way. You know,
Yeah,
they looked
big
good in the
time.
beginning, but they both kind of fell off. And I think with Lee just sitting there, like the 1-3 he made tonight, I was like, there you go, shoot it, and it went
Yes.
in. Like I'm like, just do that. If you go 2 for 5, or you go 3 for 7, or 1 for 4, something like. I don't care. You come in to shoot. There's defensive stuff thrown out there on Twitter. I don't care. I didn't think we were going to get defense when Lee came here. I thought we were just going to get that championship experience, the 3-point shooter. That's all I cared about,
Yeah,
man. Like
that's
we
all I
don't need
want.
anything else.
That's all I need from him.
Yeah.
I don't need him. And here's the disadvantage, right? Is like he's not the greatest of defenders. Okay. He's not
No.
the worst. You take a look at like the defensive rating, and it's tough to truly come up with a metric to define defense because every player has to play against different players and different levels of players, and a center is different than a guard, what have you. But he's like the 7th or 6th best defender by defensive rating on the team. He's like a 106.4 points per possession on defense. So he's not horrible, but then you have someone like Josh Okogie, and he just makes you forget about Damian Lee. And Matthew Joyce is right. He said you just got to play through it at this point. And the challenge for Damian Lee is I don't know how, as these rotations start to shrink, again, we got 21 games left, Jamsters. As these rotations start to shrink, Damian Lee might get popped out because he's not being productive and he's not a great defender and he's not hitting his threes. It's like we've seen this before. It was Landry Shamet. Damian Lee is becoming Landry Shamet.
Is it just the name Shamet? No, you're totally right. He is, but the thing is, I think with Shamet, it was like, no, you're right. I was gonna say something, but I'm like, you know what? He isn't shooting like we wanted Shamet to do. So
yeah,
that's exactly.
He was shooting. Who was shooting like Shamet we wanted. He's still like a 44% free 3-point shooter.
Yeah,
and people bring that up. Well, he shoots 44% from the field. I'm like, yeah, but his last 11 games is 23%, 23.1. And what did he end up shooting tonight?
He was 1 for 4.
So there you go. That's 25%, or he was 1 for 3, so that's 33%.
Yeah.
So that might have bumped it a little bit. But again, just keep an eye on that, Jamsters, as we navigate these last times, or these last few games. I just don't know how much Damian Lee might fade into the mist.
And
because
we're gonna ask for the other Lee. Maybe we might want the other Lee to come in. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna get to that point.
Or Landry Shamet will come back from injury, and then it'll be, okay, we'll give him another go. Let him do it again. So, quick shout out to Ozzy's Suns Fan Podcast in the chat. Says Nate just wants a live mention, guys. Hook him up. He said, I've never gotten a live shout out on one of these live shows like you guys. I don't know what Nate's talking about. We talk about him all the time, but cheers to you, Ozzy.
Who the fuck is Nate, dude?
He's Nate Dogg, dude.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's one of the the Rough Riders or the Regulators. Mount up. But here's to you, Nate. I know you guys are all drinking in Singapore or something. So on that note, here's an ad from DraftKings.
NBA fans, it's time to bring the hoops action to the palm of your hands with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 and win $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, opt in, and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. And if it doesn't hit, you'll get a free bet back. I do this like every night. I go and I bet a 3-legged parlay on a random NBA game, and if I don't win, I get a bet back. It's making money. or losing it unless I win it. You know what I mean. Download the app now and sign up with code TBPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, with code TBPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions applied. Void in Ohio. See show notes for details.
Hope everyone enjoyed that.
That was awesome, dude.
Me and
Oh my
Matthew
God.
shooting
The
hoops
eating.
at Paradise Valley Community College. We're so good at basketball, bro. We're so good at basketball, but we're not as good as this guy. All right, Deandre Ayton tonight, 14 points, 11 total rebounds, 6 of 11 from the field in 31 minutes played. Had one steal, had a couple blocks as well, and I was really impressed with those blocks. Those were like I don't know, did you watch the Sixers and the Grizzlies game last
I did.
night?
Yeah.
I did too. Did you see that block that fucking Embiid put on Ja Morant?
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah, Morant was trying to like crowd surf the whole last 2 minutes of the game. Every time he had the ball, what is he doing?
That's
what he always tries to do.
That's just Ja.
Fucking lose every game because of that.
And that was fantastic. And like DeAndre didn't go to that level, but he like the 2 blocks that he had were pretty monstrous. What did you see from DA tonight?
It was good. I mean, I don't have a whole lot on him tonight. I really don't. I think he was good. The blocks were awesome. I think that his shot looked good, but he was kind of just a little short on a few. He was talking to the refs a lot more tonight. I did notice that, which is always nice. Maybe KD was helping him out on that. I did notice in his last interview when they talked about after the shoot around they had, the 2-hour scrimmage they had,
yes,
where there were some smiles. They were pretty excited what they had on the court. He did talk about, it's a different atmosphere out there. They're not as serious. I mean, they're not as no more funny games, whatever he said. And you like my quotes, whatever he said. I just make sure.
Don't worry. I got the quotes.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot taken from that practice, and it's going to be interesting how he moves forward with this team, because right now it is all seriousness. It is about just winning and improving, going in early. That way you can play with KD. That way you can, practice with him, going in early. And even though like, if you're on time, you're late. That's the way it is now with this team, right? If you're on time, you're late. So
it's business, baby.
He has a lot to get used to, man. He might grow up before our eyes. Tonight was just a decent game. I think we're all looking forward to him playing with KD.
So the quotes that you're referencing, obviously the Phoenix Suns had what many were describing as the most intense practice since training camp. And DeAndre Ayton was interviewed afterwards. He said, everyone's competitive juices have risen a little bit, and there's less smiles and there's more seriousness. Good. Because the guy who's going to benefit, in my personal opinion, the most from all of this KD integration is DeAndre fucking Ayton. And here's what I noticed tonight. Okay, I did a parlay, just as I mentioned during the DraftKings ad. I like to put together little 3-legged parlays, because if you use the same game parlay opportunity and you opt in, if you miss your bet, you're going to get like up to $10 back on that bet. So I had a bet tonight that it was Devin Booker over 3.5 assists, Chris Paul over 9.5 points, and DeAndre Ayton 20+ points. So he ended with 14. So that being said, like, I was very tuned in to what DeAndre Ayton was doing. And that's one of the fun things, Jamsters. If you live in a state where you can bet on games, it's fun to throw $1. Who fucking cares? Throw $1 on DA's points or something, because you're going to force yourself to watch him. Put $3 on Chris Paul's assists, and all of a sudden you're going to notice how he navigates the offense and tries to set players up, and you get really pissed when guys don't hit shots when they're wide open. But what I noticed with DA is the respect that he still gets. This is a team with the Oklahoma City Thunder that are a little undersized, and they like to play a little bit of that 5-out, but they were squeezing DA every possession in the fourth quarter. So if there's anyone who's out there's like 14 points with, and no KD and, blah, blah, it's like, no, man, like the Suns were trying to get him the ball. Josh Okogie had a turnover where he's trying to get it to the interior. They were squeezing every time down the floor. They were squeezing DA and not allowing any entry passes to him because they were afraid of him.
Sure. I thought he was running away from the ball again in the last
No,
I didn't want to talk about it. He was running away from the ball.
So what he did, what'd do? He'd come up, he'd get a pin down on offense. And then Chris Paul would come up and he'd try to get him the ball, but you'd have a weak side defender coming behind him. So he'd run up to Chris Paul, he'd set a screen, and then he'd roll to the other side, and then Chris Paul would always roll away from him, and then DA would end up on the weak side. It happened like 4 times. Trust me on this.
He tried
to integrate him into the play. That didn't work. He tried to set a screen and do a screen and roll. Chris Paul just doesn't look him. He looks the other way, and then he just goes to the weak side, and then he's waiting for and then he comes out and he does it again. Like he did it like 4 or 5 times.
It's going to be nice when we have KDs. That way we can stop talking about whether DA is in position to get the ball or they're passing him the ball in the post. Like, it's going to be so nice to stop talking about that. I feel like it's going to fade away, I think, right?
Just like Ayton shots.
What about, yes, exactly. What about his comments, though? Did you like his comments about, like, coming in early and then also, like, just the mood there? You like it?
100%.
So it just shows you he really just never tried, and that the reason that we traded Mikhail's his fault, right? Because he never tried to be that superstar next to Booker.
No, I feel like when Mikhail was there and DeAndre Ayton's there and Payne's there, you have the goofy guys in the classroom, right? Like you have the serious older guys, right? Like Chris Paul, Devin Booker, these guys who are out there and they're all about, they're sitting in the front row and they're crunching the numbers. And then you got the class clowns in the back who are just trying to have a good time. And I feel like with Mikhail left, DeAndre Ayton, and you bring in Kevin Durant, you're bringing in somebody who is going to be sitting in the front of the row too. And all of a sudden, third period economics just got a little bit more serious. And you're realizing, and this is the maturity process for the young center, is he's going to realize, like, from a business standpoint, like these are guys who are on the last legs of their career. They're trying to cement their legacy. And, you guys just like, well, you're doing the gritty and stuff. Like, no one cares, So it's like, I think that it's him having that realization. He's like, shit, school's like in session, bro. Like, it's time to go to school. And he always had that with Chris Paul. But the difference is Kevin Durant occupies and can occupy the same space as you, DA. Chris Paul's a little point guard. You're never going to be that. But now you got Kevin Durant, who's taller than you and is more agile and is dedicated. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, no.
Good, bad, or different. That's my observation.
Yeah, it's a bad take by me. I think that I love his interviews. They're always just very honest. And I love that part about him. And he is still young. This is his 5th year as a center, so he's going to grow for sure. That's awesome. I really think it's awesome. But I'm just saying, it just does show you that, like, now that he has to take this seriously, it's just kind of hard to hear. I'm going to be honest. It's probably a bad take.
Why?
But it's hard to hear from me.
Why?
Because if he were to take this shit seriously, no, he can be that guy, but work on your fucking game. Get better. That way we don't have to bring KD here. That way we can rely on you in the future years to where KD gets old. Like, oh, who do we have next to Book? Now we got to find someone else because he's not the guy. So that's what I thought about when he said that stuff. And I love his interviews. I really do. I like his personality. I do. It's fine. But I'm just saying the reason this trade happened mostly is because his game was never worked on. He never gave a shit like Booker or Mikhail. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I get you there, but don't you see this as a positive now? Because it's like, shit, now this is
for him.
This is going to mold him into the player that he needs to be.
Yeah. No, yeah. Let's see it. Let's see it. I mean, it's his last. And he's had a bunch of guys to play with him, man. Like, these guys, they're the real deal.
Think about that, though. Think about that if you're DeAndre Ayton, man. Like, there's no fucking excuses.
No,
you come onto a team and you got Devin Booker. Then they bring in Chris fucking Paul, and then you got Kevin Durant. Like, shit, man, that's like the best case scenario. That's like,
but he doesn't think the same thing. I don't care about the game. I'm just saying on the court.
How do you know what he thinks?
Because we can see it. It unfolds on the court. We see the same shit he does every year. It's the same fucking shit. And I'm sorry, I'm cursing because I don't have addiction. I'm just saying this is the same guy. So if this is not a negative. I'm just saying. This is not negativity towards him. I'm just saying this is his last opportunity for sure. But it's just one of those things. It's like, fuck, dude. We've been battling about this guy for the last 5 years. And yes, we're right. He didn't take it as seriously as these guys. And for that reason, we had to trade our favorite fucking player on the team.
I don't agree with that. You can't say that.
You think we would have KD anyways?
No, you're going to trade Mikhail because Mikhail has an amazing value. Like, it's a great contract.
Oh, okay.
What's that? Is that the passive aggressive okay thing? You're just
no.
I don't think that DeAndre Ayton's lack of production equates to Mikhail being gone. I think Mikhail's the way that he stepped up made him more desirable, and that's what got us KD. Right?
Yeah.
Like, how's
No,
it DeAndre Ayton's fault that Mikal Bridges got traded? I don't understand that.
I
I don't see the
I just
correlation.
explained it. It's just because
But I don't see the correlation. I just don't see it.
Okay, listen, I'll say it one more time. If
Okay.
DA took this game as
Slower.
seriously as Booker,
Okay.
and he did improve every year, and he
Uh-huh.
became better,
Uh-huh.
then Mikal wouldn't have been traded because we would have had these young guys as a core where, KD might have went to Memphis, but Memphis is like, no, we want to keep JJJ. We don't want to get rid of
But
these
Kevin
guys.
Durant said, I want to go to Phoenix. So it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. They're going to trade.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't agree in any way, shape, or form. Kevin Durant's like, I want to play with Devin Booker. So they're not going to be like, we're shipping you to Memphis. Like, we should be happy that Mikal Bridges played the way that he did and got himself traded, so we have Kevin Durant. Should we not?
No, I mean, we had to now, for sure. We had to make the move.
Would you rather DeAndre Ayton was traded? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying I would rather just have DeAndre Ayton as a real future, but wow.
He does. How does he not?
Okay,
because he said
this is the last thing, because I know a lot of people are getting annoyed.
Because he said like they weren't smiling in practice.
No, it's oh my god, dude. Like does not everything I just said doesn't make any sense at all.
Exactly, it makes zero sense to me.
Because DeAndre Ayton did not take this game seriously. He's not really a baller like Cameron Johnson, like
the game against
Bridges,
the Thunder tonight,
like Devin Booker. Like, no, I'm talking about his whole career.
Okay.
So our focus was when we got DeAndre Ayton, and I know everyone's gonna leave. I don't give a fuck. Our whole our whole thing was DeAndre Ayton and Booker, our future, right? If he actually gave a shit like Booker, and I'm not saying he would have to been a different player, then we wouldn't have this issue where we'd have to bring in all these guys to help us win anything. We could have had Mikal, we could have had Cameron Johnson to win it. We could have counted on DeAndre Ayton for the future. So you're telling me if KD ends up being hurt, never played, let's just say he never plays, or he plays maybe 2 more years with the Suns, and we're like, well, we still have Booker and Ayton. You really trust Ayton still with this team? Knowing that now, like, oh, hey, now I got to play hard. Now Kevin Durant's here. Now I got to give a fuck. Like, I actually have to be a future. Yeah.
I can hope. The guy's what, 23, 24 years old? Like
he can.
You know, what was Devin Booker when he was 23 years old? Throwing the ball into the.
We knew Booker was booked, dude.
Yeah, we knew Booker had we knew he had the ability, but we knew that he had flaws. Just like we know DeAndre Ayton has the ability, but he has flaws, and he's working through those flaws, and he's still a double machine. You know, so he does put forth a good effort. We just need to. I don't know.
He does. My whole thing was like, I'm just done. I'm a big Ayton fan. I am. I'm just saying the reason that we had to make this trade, I don't know. What am I going to do this again? How does it not make sense?
I vaguely get what you're saying, but it's like it's not. It doesn't correlate. There's too many other variables in there. You know what I'm saying?
If Ayton gave a fuck, he would have been no, seriously. If he would have gave a fuck,
but it's the same thing with like Chris Paul, right? Like if Ricky Rubio was better, we could have kept him, but Chris Paul wanted to be here, so we traded for him. Like,
no, I'm talking
Kevin
about
Durant wanted to be here. You're not going to say no to Kevin Durant. It's not about needing something or wanting something. Kevin Durant wanted to be here because he wanted to be a part of this. Has nothing to do with Ayton was good, bad, or gave a shit. Has nothing to do with it. He wanted to be here because of Devin fucking Booker. So he forced his way here. Who cares?
No, I understand. I understand we got KD because KD wants to be here.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, but going into the season, no one thought the Suns had a chance to win a championship, right? Because Ayton never got better. Because it's like we need another superstar next to Booker, but that had to be Ayton. That was our chance to actually have this core together and win it the right way, right? The right way that Giannis does. That was the only way to do it. But now we have to bring in KD and all these superstars because he can't trust Ayton. That's all I'm saying.
But he's like averaging career high in points.
I know. Now he is. Yeah.
What do you mean he is?
I don't understand. We're so flippity floppity on this dude.
Well, yeah, because he's flippity floppity. Which is
I know.
Point.
Oh, dude, none of that. The last 20. We didn't even talk about Cameron Payne coming back.
We haven't yet. We haven't even got there. DeAndre Ayton had a decent game, and you had to spend 20 minutes on telling me why you didn't like him again. Substitution patterns. This is one thing I really want to talk about moving forward over these last 20 games, because this is going to be very telling for what Monty Williams is going to be doing. And the first thing that he did, do you know who the first guy who got subbed in this game was?
Was it no, was it?
First guy subbed in the game.
Man, a dog, you with Paris? This guy's a gangster. His real name
Terrence.
is the home with both parents.
Terrence.
Parents have a real good marriage.
Terrence Ross got the first nod. He came in for Torrey Craig. And kudos to Ross for hitting that quarter 3 buzzer beater, man. That's why I had to play the drop right there, just because I'm like, dude, he hit a quarter 3 buzzer beater. Looked great. But it was interesting that then Ish Wainright came in over TJ Warren. So does like the War Machine already have a short circuit? Like what's going on there? We didn't see it. We didn't see TJ Warren tonight. And what's interesting again is, Dave King put together a survey, if you will. Who's the 5th best player on the Suns right now? We know who the top 4 is. Even though Matthew doesn't think DeAndre Ayton's in the top 4.
Not what I said. Rip my shirt off. Like Richard Jefferson.
walk around. Go take a piss again. But so, Dave King put a thing out to all the Brightside writers, said, hey, rank everybody from 1 to 15, 1 to 16, 17 on this roster at that point. And TJ Warren came in 5th for everybody, and SB Nation voted 5th. The 5th best player on the team's not even fucking playing, Matthew. What the fuck's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, leave it to Monty, right? To do stuff like this where, he has his favorite players and his players he plays every other game. Like Bismack didn't play either tonight, right? But TJ, you could just see him on the court, on the bench, just sitting there like, what the fuck? Like what I was reading from that when he's just sitting there looking at the ground like, so I'm back in Phoenix, but I'm not playing.
Again.
This is the weirdest fucking team right now. Like,
is
what
Ryan
is going
McDonough
on?
running the show, or
yeah, he's
is Earl Watson my coach?
Why was I excited to come back? But he'll play next game, I think. I think the one thing with Ross and him when they did play together, it didn't look good at all. I think you can only have Ross or Warren on the floor.
And the answer is the answer Ross, or is the answer Warren? Ross he's more of a facilitator of the offense. He can shoot the 3 ball better. His nickname's the Human Torch, and like TJ Warren, like Hey.0 says, he kind of seems slow and injured.
I don't know. Like he's fine, but it's just he's like a plug and play. Like you don't ask a lot from him either. You just know he can score.
No.
I don't know what he's waiting for. If he doesn't play next game, then it's an issue.
Well, what I think it is, to your point, you can't play them both at the same time. At least we've seen it. What, like 2 games, 1 game? I think it was the Clippers game where they both played, and that's all we have to go off of. So it's like you can't. Yeah. That's not a trend or anything, but it didn't look good. We do know that. So it might be one of those things where Monty Williams is going to have Terrence Ross come in and Ish Wainright come in for about 3 or 4 games, and he's going to try TJ Warren, and he's just going to kind of play the hot hand, because that's why I want to, like, I will be paying massive attention to these rotations moving forward. Like at one point tonight, it was Cameron Payne, Damian Lee, Ish Wainright, Terrence Ross, and Jock Landale. Like, I'll ask you in true Mandalorian fashion, is this the way? Like, that's not a good backup lineup, is it?
No, I was going to pay attention too, but I'm like, I don't know if you can take it seriously till KD gets back.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like, I was seriously going to track minutes tonight and be like, all right, this guy's playing this. I was like, well, when KD comes back, then they have to figure it out again. So I'd just be wasting time. So I just got on Twitter. No, I think we have to wait and see, dude. Monty has a lot on his plate. A lot.
He does, man. He does.
Yeah.
And I wrote a piece for Brightside about how it's like, dude, all the pressure now is on Monty Williams, because he's got this amazing lineup now, with 2 future Hall of Famers, Devin, and then 2 other future Hall of Famers, and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. So you gotta listen. I see the people in the chat. Like, trust me, I ride DA harder than anybody. I get it, but like, he does have, with great power comes great responsibility. He has great power. We just need to see the responsibility.
Too late.
Yeah, well, no, it's not too late. He's on year 1 of a 5-year contract.
Here comes the pain.
It's about goddamn time. Cameron Payne plays for the first time in 21 games. 16 minutes, was 5 of 9 from the field, including 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. Had 14 points, had 4 rebounds. Matthew, how many assists did our backup point guard have?
Oh, he had 0, right?
0 assists.
Yeah, that's how
Welcome
you
back,
do
Cameron
it.
Payne.
I thought he had. Well, he was moving the ball around right when he came
He
in. They were
was.
moving the ball. He actually had. It wasn't really from him, but I mean, he was setting guys up in a way where DA was open at the end of it.
Mhm.
It just looked nice. He was moving the ball around pretty well. He had a little bit of those little layups by the rim where he knows he's gonna get blocked, but throws it up anyways because nothing else is there. But overall, it was a good game. I mean, he did the Mikal Bridges sign for the 3.
Yes.
I think that's a thing they all did. I think Mikal started it, right? But he can still do it. He can still carry it on. Is that an okay thing? Are we okay with that?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, it still hurts a
allow
little
it.
bit, honestly.
I'll allow it.
I think him being back healthy is nice, but then also he did tweak his ankle. Look like he was
Did
kind
he
of grimacing
really?
a little bit. Yeah, so he hit that big 3, and then on the ESPN broadcast, they said like it looked like he tweaked his ankle. They zoomed in on him, and he was like kind of like that. I'm like,
Great.
so I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, like you said in the beginning of the pod, a lot of this rests on Payne. It really does, man. If we have him healthy, he's the solid backup point guard we need, and he can play with Chris Paul. He can play with Devin Booker. He can play with all of them. So it's nice to have him back. Man, we missed him, and I was super excited for him to come back. I know KD wasn't playing tonight, but I was like, you know what? I'm really excited to see Cameron Payne.
Me too. It was great to see him out there. He was, when you have those lower extremity injuries, and that's the challenge he's had the last 2 seasons. Last year, it was a hamstring and an ankle. This one's like an ankle/foot. But having him back out there is something that it's it's needed for the Suns, right? He's got the energy. He's screaming, and we're getting the whole campaign experience tonight. Like you said, doing the 3 thing. Every team needs a guy like him. And he's the guy the opposing fan base hates, and he's R. And it was good to see him back out there. And he's the guy who gets the crowd going. Because if you think back to that 2021 playoff run, Cam Payne was the one who got that crowd going multiple times, man. You need him for more than just assists. I honestly believe that. And I hope there is no validity to a hurt ankle or he tweaked it, because that's what happened last time. I think he came back for 1 game against Cleveland and boom, he was out 21 games again. So it's like he's really been out for like 30-something games. It's been half the season that we haven't had Cameron fucking Payne. So
yeah, I guess it was the other foot though.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So we'll see moving forward, and again, we'll continue to monitor kind of the substitution patterns of Monty Williams moving forward. Let's see. What else do I got in my notes? Ooh, I think we had somebody hanging out on the subreddit, huh?
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
So Matthew was hanging out, and he had his hat on backwards.
What was that? Oh, what was that one cartoon where the guy had like the hat and it like covered his nose? It went below his nose. Do you remember that?
Was it
started with a D or something, right? Dilfer or something?
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I know exactly what you're talking about. Dipshit. It was DeAndre.
That was it. It was DeAndre. Yes. It's his fault.
What were they saying on the subreddit for the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight?
It was a lot of complaints.
I believe that.
Yeah, it was mostly just the disrespect they get.
We've been there, huh?
I mean, for the Suns to get the jump shot fouls, they're like, how many jump shot fouls are the refs going to call? I mean, it started out basically that way where Booker got a few where I'm like, what? Like, he was kind of just maybe because he missed it or something, but the ref gave him like
there were some late ones. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
those are respect calls.
Very fishy.
We've never.
We're not used to that though, right?
I don't know how to.
I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what to do with them. Dude.
I guess after those, you go to the free throw line and you shoot.
Yes. Some Payne love. I really can't believe Payne became something in this league. He was so hard to watch on the Thunder. That's right. He was for sure. So they were saying as it went down, just like, oh yeah, good for him, good for that guy. So like, wait, is that the same Payne? Because they didn't recognize him, a lot of them.
Ah.
Cool. I swear to God, if we breathe on the Suns player, it's a foul. Bro, what does Giddey need to do to get the fucking call? So Giddey
was getting hacked a lot.
He wasn't getting anything. And you can tell by the end of the game, he was just kind of like, fuck, I don't know what to do near the rim. He's getting blocked.
And that's all he was doing was attacking the rim.
I know, he'll get there. Campaign, setting the worst screens, and then Dort, Giddey are some fucking bricklayers. I think towards the end of the game, like they just couldn't. They were hot there for a little bit. Dort was, and few of the other dudes. They what was the guy's name? It's such a weird name. I don't know why I can't
They
remember.
were all named Williams.
Yeah.
Everyone on their team was named. It was Jalen Williams, Jalen Williams. Like it was like watching a 2K team.
Isaiah Joe.
Oh, Isaiah Joe.
Such a weird name.
Dude, Isaiah Joe, he gets this.
The Jack Taylor Award for the guy who comes out of nowhere and scores a shit ton of points on you.
So Isaiah Joe in this game, a career high, because it always happens against the Sun, man. We are like the heavyweight champions of guys getting their career high. He was 11 of 17 from the field, 6 of 12 from beyond the arc, had 28 points and 7 total rebounds. Isaiah Joe, Jack Taylor Award winner tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, where'd that guy come from?
Marshall? Just kidding, I don't know.
No,
and that was it, man.
They said the University of Arkansas.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That's all I had. A lot of it was seriously just ref shit. And
I believe it. We've been there, man. We've been there. We're Suns fans.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right. Before we get to the Jam Star, is there anything else that you have in your notes?
Let me take a look. Jock had a better game, a little bit better, a little bit better. But when you're playing the Thunder, I mean, fuck, you better grab those boards. And
yeah. Well, there's one thing I have in my notes, and we'll miss him. We do miss him. It's good to see him.
The Sarich smoke break.
Yeah.
Falling on the floor.
DA went right through him on a play. It was amazing.
He just took the ball.
Yeah. Dario Saric is trying to grab the ball from DA and like force a tie up. And we've never seen DA like go into DeMarcus Murray, just like plow through people like he used to for the Cowboys. And that's what he did. He's like, oh, it's Dario, just boom. Dunk.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow.
You know, it's hard to see him play. I thought he was going to have a little bit of a comeback there. He hit a big 3, and then he got
did
the
hit
line.
a 3. Yeah.
But he's the one that got Jock back into it by giving him an and one.
Yes,
so I'm like, Jock and one. I'm like, oh, of course it's on Dario.
Of course,
of course it is.
And he went through him too.
Yeah,
good old Dario. Good to see you, brother.
I know, miss that guy, man. Mikhail gets all the love, but I miss Dario too.
Well,
man.
one of the things I said, I put in my notes, return of Dario. Why it still probably hasn't hit us that KD is a Sun. Has it hit you that Dario isn't?
Has it ever?
No.
Or will it ever?
Will it ever?
Will it ever?
It'll always be in my heart.
Get a tribute too to him.
Yeah. So I
good.
was watching the PHNX podcast yesterday, and Saul was saying, he's like, how do you put together a tribute video of Dario Saric? And then I saw the tribute video. It's just him just like fadeaways and falling on the floor. There's Dario.
On the float. That's how the song was.
So Dario. So a couple of things that I had in the in my notes, and these are fun topics of conversation. Thunder, Rockets, or Magic? Who's got next? Who do you like more?
Thunder, Rockets.
So who do you think is going to be better, and who do you like more? Of the Thunders, Rockets, and Magic. Those are kind of like the 3 perennial. They're the teams that were like the Suns, the Kings, and who was the other team that was always hanging out with us at the fucking in the cellar?
Was it Memphis?
Memphis, yep. Yeah. Those are the 3 teams that kind of we all were drafting down in the low parts of the lottery together, and we're kind of on the come up. Now it's going to be the Rockets, the Magic, and the Thunder. Who do you got?
You know what? The Rockets, to me, though, have a really good chance of getting Wembanyama. Them or the Spurs, they're probably going to get him. So if you're talking about a better future, I would say them.
Okay.
Just because of that fact. But
and who do you like the most?
I like Orlando.
Okay.
I think their rookie over there, I know he's out, but I think they have something really special over there with that team. They surprised a lot of people this year, but good young talent. I can't name any of them. So I won't try to put this together.
I can, man. They're good.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not good with names. I'm good with just the sweat stains on the butt cracks. Is it?
Yeah, and DeAndre Ayton. So I think, answering the same thing, I'll go with who I like.
Wait, are these questions you came up with, or who asked these?
No, I came up with these.
Okay.
So I think the Rockets are no. Because I think there's too many egos on that. Like, I feel like that's a team. They're really good at offense. So we know that. The Suns have played them 3 times this season. We've lost 2 of those games. But, like, you got Jalen I always forget which Jalen it is.
Jalen Smith.
Is it Jalen Smith? You got Jalen Smith, and I feel like there's too many egos. Everyone's trying to be Jordan on that team, and that never works, right? What's interesting about the Thunder and what makes them a viable threat moving forward is Giddey's good, dude. SGA is a fucking all-star. I mean, of these three teams, only one has an all-star, and it's SGA. But Giddey is the perfect guy to be next to SGA because he's a great distributor. He's long and he can get to the basket. Jalen Williams, the local kid from Perry High School, he's really good. He's a good offensive player too. And they're good at defense. So I think that they might be the next team that's coming up. And they also have all of their assets. But I'm with you. I love Orlando. I love Paolo Banchero. I love Jalen Suggs. I love Franz Wagner. I like what they have. They might be they're like the Thunder on the Eastern Conference side. The other thing about the Thunder is they have Chet Holmgren, who didn't even play it all this year.
Yeah,
so you don't even know what
and
you have
Poku.
back. And they got
Poku's
Poku.
been hurt too. Poku's been playing. He was playing pretty good.
But you got both of those guys, and Orlando's kind of the same way. They got Markelle Fultz. It's interesting though. They got rid of Mo Bamba, and they've sucked since then.
Yeah, they're 1 year away. I think the Thunder, of course, next year. I mean, they can be a playoff team this year too.
Yeah, agreed. They
have a hard. I think they have a hard second half schedule. Obviously they play the Suns 3 more times, so that's pretty tough on their end. SGA though, man, the thing is, it's funny because he's an all-star, and then all of a sudden it's no one gives a fuck. He's an all. I don't know if you want to talk about the all-star game and how weird it is, where these guys complain about getting in the all-star game and then they just don't care. I mean, the game sucks. Obviously,
it's not good.
But
it's not good.
It's such a weird thing where we're not going to talk about it obviously next week because there's going to be so much good basketball within the next week. But it's a weird thing that these guys are just no one cares about anything. You get these young kids out there that watch the show. You want to be an NBA superstar, but you get there and they're still just disappointed, and they're still just fucking not happy with anything they do unless they win a championship. That's all that matters.
Well, that's correct, but that's just you just defined America, man. It's the richest country in the history of countries, and everybody's depressed and popping Xanax pills. But it's a conversation for another time.
I wish I had one of those tonight, dude.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
That would make me fall asleep, right? Xanax.
It probably would have been better.
Yeah,
than
I took one of those. I fell asleep right away. Huh?
What?
This was a good podcast. I thought this was awesome.
The Oklahoma City Thunder have the 24th hardest strength of schedule left. The Suns have number 2. Number 2 for us.
Man.
And so let's go ahead and
21 games.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things that need to happen. But let's hand out some hardware.
Jam star of the game.
Jam star of the game. Jamsters, hit the like button while you're hanging out with us. Let us know in the chat who your jam star of the game is. And if you're listening to the podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review. Matthew, who's your podcast?
Get Deandre Ayton.
I'll second.
I'm going to do it. Those 2 blocks. Fucking great.
They were
Thanks for trying out there, man. Love it, dude. I love this guy. I really do. I'm really excited for him. My head just turns around. I'm just fucking possessed over here.
Flames start your microphone just turns to flames. I'm going with Campaign. It's good to have Campaign back.
Oh yeah,
good to see him play with the aggression. Good to see him be effective out there. Good to see him yell and scream and get that crowd going. It was fantastic. I enjoyed that. So next up for the Phoenix Suns, doggy. We've got a game that doesn't have a graphic.
Nope. Me bad.
We're playing Jay Crowder on Sunday, man.
Yeah.
Jay Crowder. So Giannis, we'll see. Giannis had the wrist injury at the All-Star game, played the 1 second, and then he played today, and it looked like he tweaked his kneecap a little bit, and he walked off the court. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if he'll be available to play, but the Suns are starting a 4-game road trip. It's 11 a.m. Arizona time on Sunday against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a good team, man. They've won 13 in a row. Do they make it 14 in a row against the Suns?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think without Giannis there, man. I mean, without Giannis, it's a win. With Giannis, man, I don't even know. It's probably going to be a loss. I'm nervous to see Jay Crowder, dude. I'm nervous. What's going to happen between him and the teammates and Coach
So
Monty?
did you see him play today?
I did a little bit, yeah.
Like, how is it coming out of the All-Star break? We're going on like the former Suns revenge tour. Like we play Saric tonight, and then we play Crowder, and like if
Yeah.
we play the Nets
Yeah.
next Wednesday, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Did we
It
play
was-
the Nets again?
No, we've already played them twice this
Oh,
year.
I was like, better not.
It's like, no, I can't handle it. I'm just not there yet.
No, not
You know?
yet.
What'd you think of Jay out there?
It's fine. I mean, the parts I saw, he hit a 3-pointer, and then the next part he ran down the court in the corner, and then the next part he like ran on the other side of the 3-point line, and he stood there, and then Drew Holiday hit a 3, and then he started celebrating and stuff. So he's excited to be out there. Milwaukee gave him the standing ovation, which is nice, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just interested to see how he reacts body language with that team. I know it's basically him and ownership or whatever that had the issues. So it's just weird. This whole season was weird with him. So it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be definitely very weird.
I want to see how the Suns attack him, because he's somebody who hasn't been playing a bunch. You know that he could potentially become the pigeon out there. But it was good to see him out there. Like, I love Jay Crowder, man. Like, he was a big part of this team's success. You know, it's like going back and the 06 or the 0405 Suns, right? After the 0405 Suns, like, they got rid of Quentin Richardson. I love Quentin Richardson the rest of his career, man, because he meant something to that team. Jay Crowder's the same thing. He was memeable. He had, Salsa Jay. I have no regards for that guy. It sucks that he went to the fucking Bucks. Seeing him and Javon Carter out there kind of hurt my feelings tonight. I was watching the game before the Suns game on ESPN, and then I switched over, and I saw Javon Carter out there, and he's wearing number 5. I'm like, oh, C5, it doesn't have the same ring to it. And Bossman 99, I'm like, look at all these fucking former Suns. And then I tune into our game. I'm like, hey, look at all these former Thunder players playing against the Thunder. You got campaigns out there, CP3, Katie's on the sideline. I'm like, oh, it's just a bunch of old Thunder guys.
Yeah, is it here?
No, it's in Milwaukee. It's the first game of a 4-game road trip. So we play them. We play Charlotte. We play. I don't remember after that.
See, I thought the game that Katie's coming back was the first game. So I don't know.
That'll be in Charlotte at 5 p.m. our time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, he probably comes back for that game because it's the cool thing to do. But we have to wait till after this game. And the whole thing with Jay, man, is he'll probably hit the game time or the game winning shot
or a big one,
I hope
right?
not.
Or a big
one.
one.
He probably will. That's just how it happens, but we'll get over it.
Last thing I had on, I have period before I want to get out of here. I just looked at my notes real quick. OKC Thunder, and I've said this in the past, worst logo in the NBA ever.
Really bad.
It's the worst
really
one,
bad.
right? Is there anyone that's worse? Is there anything
No.
that's even supposed to be worse?
Even like doing the graphic or whatever, I'm like, this is fucking ugly as shit.
It's gross, and they have
It's
way
like,
too
I
many
hated
colors.
this. I never went that deep into it, and I know you've always said it. And their uniforms are just as bad. The ones they wore tonight were really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with that. They just got to go back to the Sonics.
Well, and then they have we have dark blue and light blue, and we have like orange, and we also have red. And I just like
white.
Yeah, no, just be the Sonics. So, anything else you want to add before we get out of here, Matthew?
No, I think this was a really good pod. It's good to be back, Jamsters, and let's enjoy the ride. Like, let's lighten up a little bit.
I know. Take a Xanax, guys.
Get rid of that
Chill.
tension, man.
Jeez, just fucking go get a massage or something. But on that note, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. You can follow me at Darth Voida. You can follow the show at Suns Jam. You can read my writing at brightsideofthesun.com, and you can follow Matthew.
I'm Matthew.
And we'll see you come Sunday afternoon affair. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, I like the earlier ones on the weekend. Get it out of the way. Sunday nights are hard. Sundays, scaries, all that shit. So nice to get out of the way. I like it.
Right. Well, it's Friday night. My beer's empty, so I'm going to go get another one.
All right, go home and DeAndre Ayton your family. Just not give a shit. Just kidding.